Well, thanks. It's lovely to be here at this amazing event, and I'm here really just as a friend of this event, not in an official BBC capacity. The last 2 years I've been working on this amazing Olympic project, and I'm just aware that next year is going to be an amazing year, and it's an amazing opportunity for churches and particularly youth groups. And just in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you just a bit about what I think some of those opportunities are, and hopefully inspire some of your thinking ahead of next year. And after the session over email or in a phone call, I'm more than happy to pick up any questions you've got. We're at this stage now where next year suddenly feels really close, and we're starting to get those emails from suppliers asking how fixed 2012 as a date is. Could it be the 2013 Olympics? How fixed are we on the opening ceremony day? Could that move a couple of weeks? But unbelievably, we are now just something like 38 Thursdays away from the opening of an amazing event. And as I say, it's only when you're inside the kind of planning you just realise how big it's going to be, and particularly what an opportunity it is. And my sense is that lots of people will clock that opportunity really late, and then it will be rushed, and there'll be just shortage of equipment and things like that. So I actually hope that giving you a bit of advance warning may help you a bit. I work in the BBC in a team called the 2012 team, not just the Olympic team, because next year it's going to be an amazing year from an amazing firework displays into the 1st of January. There are then a series of events the whole of the way through next year, which I think are going to be real opportunities for churches, for youth groups to bring communities together, to provide places for people to gather. And it is going to be an enormous year. And I've put a slide up that just gives you a sense of a series of events that are going to happen before we even get to this thing that is the Olympic Games, the largest peacetime operation in the UK. For the BBC, the biggest event we'll ever do in our lifetime. You know, in terms of scale, it's something like 30 times the size of a World Cup. Football, so it's an enormous event, but there's a whole load of things happening before we even get there. We have the Six Nations next year. We have the Torch Relay. This conference next year on that Saturday is the first day of 70 days as the torch runs around the whole of the UK, and the world will be watching this torch travel in some extraordinary places. Everyone is going to be within an hour's travel of the torch passing by. And I was out in Canada for the Vancouver Games, and the way that Canada reacted to the torch going by is enormous, and it will be an enormous thing in your communities where those are. So the torch will run for 70 days. It's a massive outside broadcast for 70 days as it runs around. There are a series of enormous events, all being planned locally to coincide with the torch travelling round. We then have the Euros, so we have an enormous football festival, the Wimbledon Championships, the Diamond Jubilee, 60 years of the Queen being on the throne, and it's a sort of 3 or 4 day enormous extravaganza. There's an enormous lunch plan, the world's ever biggest lunch, where communities get together and have lunch together. There's processions down the Thames. There's a service from St Paul's Cathedral and an enormous party from Buckingham Palace. So some extra bank holidays being thrown in for people. So these are just some of those examples where communities are going to want to come together. And if you saw some of the reaction to people getting together to watch the royal wedding, then you'll get a sense of what that will feel like. But something like 4 times the size of the royal wedding, that operation is going to be. We then there's a big Radio 1 concert that's happening, and all of that before we then get to the Olympic Games. So 16 days of action, 100 metres finals. GB hopes for the biggest medal haul there'll ever be. And what we know is that already hundreds and hundreds of organisations are planning kind of opportunities for people to come together and experience these kind of events together. The Olympic Games, 16 days, unimaginable amount of stuff, 3,000 hours of content, and every single minute of it will be broadcast live. It will be on demand for the first time. There's then a 2-week break. where particularly a lot of the culture stuff that will be happening, some enormous theatre and dance and opera and music events in a 2-week period while they change over some of the venues. And then there's just under 2 weeks of Paralympic Games that then happens in that space. And then there's a massive closing event celebrating Team GB. And I suppose one of the messages, I guess, one of the messages from this is all of those events, and not everyone assumes this, but all of those events will be broadcast in venues like this to be able to show for free. There's no charge. In some countries, you might pay thousands of pounds for a sort of public presentation license, which means you could have an event like this with projectors like this and be showing it. But all of these events across music and Olympics and Paralympics and the Diamond Jubilee and the Torch Relay and all of these events are all going to be, free access for people to be able to show. And it just, it occurs to me that there is a real demand for people to come together as communities and consume this together. And this is, I think, an enormous opportunity, particularly for youth groups in churches. We see it now with increasing numbers of events, and particularly as the technology changes, huge opportunities to create spaces for people to feel, if they didn't get a ticket for an actual event or they haven't got the chance to go to London for the Diamond Jubilee, the next best thing is to get together with other people. It's the one better experience than just being on the sofa watching it. And I think there are two kind of take-home points that I wanted to make sure you'd got in this session. We know that come all of these events next year, and the world is looking on, and 200 world leaders are in town, and 200 teams, and all of the kind of major countries sending folk to be here. We know that if you look at Sydney, or you look at Beijing, or you look at Vancouver, those host countries, everyone wants to suddenly feel part of the action. And there are, I think, enormous opportunities to provide places and opportunities, either in existing venues or new venues that you might use, to really bring those communities together. And we know that's true, and I think it's a real opportunity for churches and church groups up and down the country. And the second thing that also strikes me is this is the greatest example there is in the world of the world coming together to celebrate its diversity. We had a stat that in London, half of the competing countries have populations over 10,000. That's just in London, and they're right across the country. The extraordinary thing about the UK, and the world knows it as it looks at the UK, is that you really find the world in London and the UK. That is one of the messages of the Games. And what can we do as churches and church organisations to help celebrate, what many people argue is the most diverse country in the world, and to celebrate that? And it seems that is part of God's story, something for us to particularly take a lead, engage communities on. So that might be providing opportunities for particular countries to follow all of their gold medals. So there'll be lots of Team GB activity, but for Jamaican communities and Chinese communities, there are opportunities there. In the food that's provided, in the music that's provided, there's a huge opportunity to say, as the world comes together and celebrates its diversity, which we find in this thing called the Olympic Games, there's a theme running through that, and a thread running through that, which is God's story of diversity, and it is his story, and it seems to me that's something that churches could get involved in. But it's worth saying in closing that my experience is planning it and thinking about it before June next year is a really good thing to do, because it takes kit and time and effort and volunteers and planning, and it's a good thing to be doing over the autumn and early next year rather than June. And if you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to follow up with them over email. Thanks for your time.